Basic grade, paved the way, changed the rate, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter sets, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, Jeremy.
What's up, everyone? Major League Pod. I'm Rob Kammer, host of the MLW Confusion podcast, and with me, as always, the Diogenes of death matches, Muffins Martinez. How you doing today, Muffins?
Well, right now, as you can see, I look like a furry, and I feel like one too. So I don't know.
That's my normal existence, though. I actually trimmed this down the other day.
I gotta trim this down. It's been like a month. And it's got to go. Everything has to go. I got to get ready for summer. Everything got to go.
We got like another month. It's fine before summer hits, unless it gets weird again, like we did for like 3 days a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because right now it was 71 Tuesday, 65 Wednesday, 25 and snowing yesterday, and back to 51 today. So,
man,
beautiful weather. Yes,
exactly. So, getting down to business, last night, at least at the time of this recording, was MLW Intimidation games.
Yes.
The latest Triller Fight TV special event, highlighted by the main event of old-timey rivals Minoru Suzuki taking on Satoshi Kojima for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship. But of course, we have a whole card to get through before we get to that point. So I suppose we should just go ahead and start at the beginning of this here party and talk about, and for me, this was the match of the night.
Yes.
The middleweight championship match between Místico and Rocky Romero, represented by Cesar Duran and Salina de la Renta, respectively. You are our resident lucha guy, so start us off, Muffins. What'd you think?
I mean, I was very surprised that this was the opening match. I was like, wow, they're already going to give this one early. I guess they want to set up the tone for the rest of the night. I mean, this match did not disappoint. This match was mad classic, aerial, ground attack. And then you could think of, they did, I mean, almost like 15 minutes match. And like I said, I was very surprised that it was the first match, but I guess that's how they wanted to start it off and start it hot. Místico got the win, so now he's the new middleweight champion. Takes it back to a CMLL down there in Mexico, coming up probably tonight. If they don't have probably tonight, because I don't think they have a live AEW show, and I don't think he'll be there tomorrow. So I mean, that's amazing that the MLW belt will go over there. I just wish Kurt Bauer or somebody from CMLL will take some of the MLW wrestlers and have them down there. That'd be also kind of cool if that ever happens. But right now we have a new middleweight open champion, and it's Místico. And I couldn't be any happier than this. I mean, the match was amazing.
It was, as I said, for me, it was the match of the night. Like the two things surprised me about this match, and neither of them actually affected my enjoyment like whatsoever. And actually, the latter made it more enjoyable. But one, I was actually surprised about how slow, air quotes. It wasn't slow. It wasn't really that slow. But I was actually surprised that the pace wasn't faster in the match, especially with Místico being involved.
Yeah.
But Rocky doesn't always work the pure lucha style anyway, so that makes sense. And I was surprised at the lack of outside interference.
Yes,
because Salina has not made any bones about getting involved if necessary, and she didn't do anything outside of yell at people. So I was kind of surprised at that, which is fine. Like a clean, a match being clean is, the way it should be in a perfect sports world. But yeah, no, it was a great opener, great back and forth action. I mean, they really Rocky did take most of the action, but not like it wasn't anywhere near like a squash and an upset. And I will say, Rocky, if he's not, he needs to be training people a bit more because his body language and his facials were on point. And two, dude was just chewing on the crowd, really getting them going. He worked the crowd like nobody else that night too, despite certain people trying to work the crowd. He was actually successful in getting them going, and that was really awesome to see too. So the crowd was already getting hot for the action of the evening. But yeah, it was great. Mystico took the victory, so he's taking the belt. I echo your sentiments about a talent exchange being a true talent exchange, and we've really not seen anybody from MLW's end going to Mexico or anything of the like. Which that seems to be kind of a Court Bauer thing. Is like, we have a partnership, and the partnership is totally one-sided, where they're just kind of leeching off of somebody.
They come over, we take their belts, or they take our belts, and we don't see anybody from MLW go to that company. I don't get it, to be honest with you. But AEW does it. They're having the BBC or the BCC, whatever the hell they call it, the book. What was it called?
Blackpool Combat Club.
Yes, all 4 of them are going to be there coming up in the next 2 weeks, having a battle, and then one of their females is going to be there too. So you mean to tell me AEW can send guys over with no problems and have guys over, but MLW can send one guy over?
Well, I mean,
other than Rocky Romero, because he already lives there. So
yeah, I guess because he works for every company.
Yeah,
he's the talent liaison for every company. I mean, though, like, we can rag on it, and I can try to blame Court Bauer, but really, it might be a CMLL thing too. Because if the news is correct, like, they buggered up a bunch of talent visas here lately, and from what I'm hearing, they, despite being a nationwide, almost international company, given its talent relations, like the CMML allegedly basically put all the talent visas on just like a random indie promotion in Texas, and evidently something was just not kosher, and the feds got involved. And the guy's like, "Dude, I'm just an indie promoter. I don't want to be in trouble. Like, I'm not trying to scam anyone."
Well, the thing is that they used this company before for years.
Yeah.
And then I guess they found out that the guy they were going through the stuff, he kind of gave the job to other people under him, and he wasn't keeping up with it. And then when they said, "Well, we're not going to work with you anymore," he kind of said, "Well, shit, if you don't want to work with me, then I'm going to kind of tip the government about this." And he went and tipped the government about the visas, and now all the visas for like 20 different talents are going to be kind of messed up from now till past WrestleMania weekend, maybe more, unless they expedite this. And expedition means extra money to pay to get this stuff done. So unless somebody has some deep wallets, it's going to be crazy to get those guys. But at least one of the names is not Mystical, who's
right.
not.
I would be really suspect if that happened, especially since it was live last night.
Yeah, and he's being advertised for the May show in Chicago for MLW. But I'm pretty sure there was some other names that they mentioned before that now they have to scramble and get other guys who are not on that core list. So,
right. So new champ. Another step in the Salina de la Renta Cesar Duran feud. We'll see a little bit more of that kind of come later. But like, they almost teased, and I got really excited. Like, they teased Lucha de Apuesta, and then Rocky backed off of their title versus hair, and Rocky backed off.
Rocky the one that lose those locks. See, like no.
At least not on such short notice. Get a payday out of it first. There you go. But moving on from that, second match of the night was the New York Street Fight. The Calling taking on what would become now known as The Response. Get it? So the Calling being represented by Sami Callihan and Ricky Shane Page, the National Openweight Champion, taking on Akira and Jake Crist. I thought this match was pretty darn good. Like, actually, it's kind of surprised me because I'm not sure what I was expecting, but like, there wasn't really a dull moment in the match. Like, they kept the flow going very well, and there wasn't a whole lot of like downtime or spots or time taken to set up spots. Like, it was just all like bam, bam, bam. Okay, these guys are in. Oh, these guys are out without like any sort of downtime whatsoever. I mean, they took a little bit of time to get out some ring boards, but they didn't like build some weird tower out of it or anything like that. They just went out, got the boards, got back in. We did get an odd break to have the re-debut, the return of the Blue Meanie, who was hiding out underneath the ring. So gotta get that going. I love me some Blue Meanie. Which we should have figured there was something coming up with that because the last big response promo involved the Blue Meanie, it being the something blue. But yeah, just kind of like a bunch of crazy go nuts stuff went on. It wasn't like a big bloodbath or anything either, but everything broke down. We got Raven back, even though he didn't show up live. Just got Raven on the Tron. Yeah. And basically called this a civil war, which I thought this already was a civil war. But you know, whatever, man. And gave a formal name to Chris and Akira as the response. So I'm curious how long like this part of it will go on since they bothered to name it.
Well, I had a couple of issues with this, and I had a little discussion with Akira on Twitter last night about this. So it's a New York street fight. Everything is being broken to hell. There's bloodbath everywhere. They're doing this. But the pinfall is a backslide pin.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, and
wrestling.
You and I have discussed about this. So once again, it's a New York street fight. Everything is a goal. Everything is being used. If somebody's going to get pinned and you want us to be invested in something, you want us the fans to be invested realistically, wouldn't you think that a big blow, somebody getting knocked out with something, a hammer, a silver block or something, a guitar, or somebody going through a table, some glass or something will be the ending of the match? But no, we ended as on a backslide pin.
Well, to be fair, though,
New York street fight.
To be fair, the backslide was a mechanism to the victory. We had a low blow. We had a field goal kick lead into the backslide. So it wasn't just like a flash backslide out of nowhere. Like they were fighting for it, and Callahan came in and kicked one through the uprights to do it.
What? It's a New York street fight. You going all out. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna get knocked. You know, you gotta go for the knockout, real good pin thing. You know, somebody gotta get knocked out and then get pinned. You don't get pinned on a New York street fight by a backslide. That's one. Two, you mean to tell me Raven is goddamn lazy, or they can't pay him an extra couple of dollars for him to be there in person? Just come out with a microphone, say everything you have to say there in front of everybody on a live show on a Thursday. I'm pretty sure you live close to Philly, somewhere up there. You could have made the 2-hour drive to get there. But no, we get this lazy, you know, promo on a screen. We were like, come on, guys. Like, shit. You guys are killing me right now with this nonsense. So other than that weird pinfall and the Raven thing, I was really disappointed with the finish of the match. Because if you give me a street fight and we as fans want to believe this, that to be realistic, even though we know it's not, you know, it's just or whatever, you want it to be realistically, okay, knock somebody out, hit somebody with something to the point, oh, he just knocked them out. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow, that's an amazing street fight. Now on a backslide. Well, I digress.
We'll agree to disagree on that one, because again, like I find the backslide just to be a mechanism of the fall, and the real thing was the low blow. Like, yes, we're accustomed to, like, you know, giant head drops and rando table spots, but like,
exactly.
Like, but let's be realistic. You know, a good kick to the junk will end a lot of fights too.
True. Yeah, I mean, if you kick him to the junk and then you DDT him or something, I believe it. Not just kick him to the jump and then you come from behind and, you know, do a backslide. No, man, no.
No. Bob Backlund's rolling in his grave right now.
Yeah,
he's not even dead yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hold on. He's like, I don't think he's dead though.
No, and he's in better shape than both of us. Next, I wanted to throw out there just to hear your thoughts on it. They announced that at War Chamber, we're getting the return of Timothy Thatcher.
Yes.
What do you think about that, Muffins?
Oh, I love this. I love Timothy Thatcher. Every time he's done the matches here on those shows, it's always been an A-grade match that he either he loses or he wins. Pretty much he loses, but it always is entertaining. Huh?
I would say it's a fight when he's involved.
Yeah, it's usually a fight. It usually goes all the way. It's usually a good 8 to 10 minute match of pure wrestling. I mean, the man knows how to perform inside the ring. Why he's not signed somewhere? Why MLW doesn't use him more often? Because it's been a couple of months the last time we've seen him there.
It's been it's been close to a year. Really?
It's been that long? Okay.
I mean, maybe not I think maybe August, maybe not.
Didn't he wrestle somebody who got knocked out in mid-match?
He got knocked out against he got against Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. He got yanked when they did the yank off the rope DDT spot. He landed.
Yeah, and that was I think August, maybe September.
Yeah, so I mean it's been a bit.
Yeah, it's been a while. So why he doesn't get used every month or even on the tapings is beyond me. The dude's a professional. He gives you 110% every match that he does. So I don't really understand why, but I was like, yes, that's just back. Yes.
That's pretty much my exact response. Is especially once he's been cleared to wrestle since then, because he's been wrestling since then. He's he wasn't down for terribly long with that injury. So,
and I was expecting to be another Japanese wrestler, but it's attached. I'm like, yes, all right, that's going to be a good match, and hopefully he's part of the actual show and not the tapings. So maybe both. I'd like to see him on both.
Well, we'll have to see because War Chamber usually takes a sweet bit of time, and they're running at least in terms of the televised product, are running slightly shorter shows. Yeah. So we will see
2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah. So and the faux War Games takes at least a half hour minimum anyway.
The main event, of course.
So it might. We will see how timing goes on it, but but they did say War Chamber, so he might be on the main card.
Now, do you think did they mention who's going to wrestle yet or no? Did they mention?
No, not yet. They just said he's making his return, and unless something popped along the email or the social media that I haven't been able to check in the last
because I'm hoping it'll be something between Cesar and the Renta. They're both of their factions going at it there. Now that's what I would love to see. I don't know if that's going to happen, but
you mean for the War Games itself?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we were still on Thatcher. Cesar implied during his promo after women's match that he was laying down a challenge, and it sounded like he said it was for War Chamber, but I couldn't quite tell if he meant the chamber match itself, or having another challenge for War Chamber.
Well, hopefully it's them. Hopefully it'll be that.
I mean, there's only really two ways to go about it, I feel, and that's either the faction war between Salina and Cesar, or the other way to go about it would be WTF versus guys WTF are feuding with. So at the moment it would be WTF versus Second Gear Crew and Cozy Max or something something like that. Yeah. But that's just wild speculation. I haven't seen much of anything.
Didn't we mention also that didn't Jimmy Lloyd?
Yeah, Jimmy Lloyd is back too, which he's siding with the response as well. Yeah. So I guess that could be a thing. That could be a thing too, because
yes, exactly.
I guess all they need is for traditional stuff. All they need is basically one more person aside.
And the other guys already have 4.
Yeah.
So with Cannonball and Teflon or Talon, whatever.
Talon. And even then, they need to bring back Dr. Cornwallis, because that was the best name in wrestling. I miss Dr. Cornwallis.
Yes, Cornwallis. It could be 5-5. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, it could be something like that.
I guess it just depends on where they want to go. So I guess they do now that we sit there and think about it out loud. Like they actually have several ways they can go about the war games as well. So, which I mean, honestly, like I'm psyched. Regardless of what they do, I enjoy war games or war chamber. Excuse me. Yeah. It's my second most favorite MLW event after Battle Riot, just because I love me a good battle royal, and that's a me thing. But yeah, so both those are coming up too.
Forgot about Jimmy Lloyd being in the match afterwards.
It's because it's Freudian. Like I'll throw it out there. I'm not a big Jimmy Lloyd fan, though. I was interested in him becoming a Broski #1 with Matt Cardona. I thought that was going to be interesting, but they're not doing that in MLW, and he wasn't rocking the Broski gimmick when he showed up last night. So my interest in him just kind of went way down. And I'm salty that he's getting title shots and I'm not getting title shots.
Yeah, damn. May's coming though. May's coming.
May is coming. But yeah, you're my agent for this, and have you I haven't heard it. Nothing's come down my way. So unless they've told you,
we still got time.
Heck, and maybe my shot at the tag team title just magically dissipated. But we'll cover that here in a bit. Next is the big rebirth of Alex Kane, his first singles match since losing the title, taking on the returning Bobby Fish. I'll lay it on the table. I was not a big fan of this match. Like it just it fell flat for me. Like it was kind of just a nothing burger. Like Bobby pretended it was Memphis, except nobody cared. Like he kept like jaw-jacking with the crowd, and he didn't get a response.
Yeah.
Like I did pop for he pulled my hair when Fish is rocking the shiny head right now. I popped for that, but like it was like nothing. Like there was no energy to the match. It just seemed like an assortment of video game maneuvers, like back and forth. And so I'll get your thoughts, and then we'll talk about the aftermath of the match, though.
Well, I was surprised that this match was lower. I thought it was going to be maybe like semi-main event because of Kane being the champion last month for the last 6 months. So it actually became the third match of the night. No, that's kind of low for your ex-champion. And I love Bobby Fish. He's a good wrestler. It wasn't a top match per se, but it wasn't a bad match either.
There's nothing wrong with it. It just kind of meh. Like it was just like like if I could speak ill of it, it was basically heatless filler almost, which is actually kind of disrespectful to your world champ.
He just kind of never got out of the first gear.
Yeah, they worked kind of slow, and then they slowed down from there.
Yeah, exactly. It just never kind of got out of the gear and stuff like that. But
I don't know. Maybe I just expected more because Kane's been doing very well for himself, and Bobby Fish is a really good wrestler.
And I was surprised he actually had him pass out in the maneuver. I was like, oh wow, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
And that was finish. And like that was weird too. Like almost like it wasn't planned because the ref called it. Like before, like they didn't lock it. Like he didn't lock in the body scissors. Like they were still standing, and the ref's just like ring the bell, ding ding ding.
He went down, and you see Bobby just kind of
so it was all like weird, and they didn't get out of first gear. Like so, like I mean, on paper, there's nothing wrong with the match, but like. But then again, given the talent that was involved, like it should have been better.
I expected more. Yes.
But I guess really it was just to set up what happened next with the physical debut of Flop Dollar himself, AJ Francis.
He was on 2 shows at the same time last night.
Oh God. There's 2 Manders running around, and now there's 2 Flop Dollars.
Yep.
What is this world coming to? This is the worst timeline. That's what it is. This is the worst timeline. 2 Flop Dollars, 2 one called Manders.
Yes. He was in a tag team match in TNA last night, so.
But I don't know.
He was there and made it to New York.
I feel like that fact is cooler than what we got live, because like. His promo didn't outside of like one line towards the end. Like that promo did nothing for me. He just basically came out and was like, "Look at me, I'm Flop Dollar," I make money, which I don't really, because man,
Yeah,
okay, that's a lie. He's actually pretty good, but
is Bomaye and Bomaye?
yeah, Bomaye, yeah, like
Bomaye.
yeah, like he
Yeah.
did like grandpa level puns, and the only thing out of that was might be worth its weight, and that's if if it's true, and they follow up on it, is that he referenced that someone in the Bomaye camp is not as loyal as Kane thinks they are, which I think is interesting. But then on the flip side of that, like, let's face it, on screen there really isn't much of a Bomaye Fight Club anymore.
Yeah, no. What happened to Jay Bougie? What happened to the other guy?
Jay Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards. I mean, I think I saw him like once or twice in a tag team match, and that was it.
I know Bougie still reps Bomaye on the Indies. I can't say for Edwards. I know he'll reference the Bomaye, but like he's not like all in. He doesn't seem to tag Alex Kane and things or whatever. Where Bougie is all in on it. But yeah, but like functionally speaking, in MLW, really Bomaye is just Alex Kane, Mr. Thomas, and Faye Jackson. And
Don King
whenever Don King shows up. I hope Don King is the one that turns. That's what I want out of this. Now
that'd be fun. That'd be
that would be great. That would be the best case scenario. If
you dropped the belt, so now I'm moving from you to Bomaye now. Get the real money to somebody else. So hopefully he'll have a different outfit on this time.
Yeah, but I am morbidly curious if this wasn't just an off the cuff comment and this is something they're actually planning, because again, like Bomaye is only 3 people right now, and no one's gonna care if Faye Jackson turns. And so that leaves Mr. Thomas, which is interesting because Thomas and Francis are going to be facing each other facing at the next. But at the tapings last night, they were supposed to face each other for whatever I forget what the next big YouTube show is called, like A New Beginning or something
from New York or something like that.
But so I'm kind of interested to see like if that was a real line and that's something they're going to push, especially with Mr. Thomas and Francis going to have in a match, or if that was just Francis just spouting off saying whatever he thought of at the moment to try to pop the crowd and not work. But yeah, so again, like that, like to me though, like I don't have much use for AJ Francis either. I think he's overrated in his own head. But he's hustling, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, it's weird because they had Cardona, and Cardona did a lot. And those 5 months that he was there, Francis came in and it doesn't have the same effect or big time eyes like Cardona did when he came in last year.
Well, and I think that's just because it's two different kinds of performers. Like Cardona is actually like Cardona has made himself a cult of personality. Like, well, he's always been kind of a cult of personality. Like, he's always been like large and in your face and bombastic and really good at manipulating social media. Francis, on the other hand, like, don't get me wrong, he's hustling. I will give him that. He is hustling. He's putting in the work. But he doesn't have, I don't think he doesn't have the charisma Matt Cardona has. Let's just put it out there. He's not that charismatic overall, and he's not that great of a wrestler either. And so you put like those things together with some allegedlys, which compared to other people's allegeds, like it's not that big of a deal. But like I don't, the man doesn't do much for me because I don't think he's very good on the mic, and he's not very good in the ring at all.
And it's crazy how all these ex-WWE guys are free, but they're wrestling for like every independent company they could find all at once. Like they're here, and you're like, dude, like how many places are you gonna be all at once? You know, TNA, MLW, N.W.A, All in Destiny, all in other places, and you're like, wow,
you gotta strike while the iron's hot, because that window.
No, but shit, like slow down, dude. Like, I know you're free after being in years of being locked down, but doesn't mean that you're gonna just sell yourself to every company and just get money and be seen.
No, that's exactly what you got to do, because unless you're Cardona, who can successfully, like, who's like a marketing machine, like that's the only way you're going to continue to make yourself relevant, is by putting yourself out there and getting as many eyes on you as possible. You know, like Cardona has the luck of like being like a super popular guy who's, you know, that he's got the leg up on everyone, but he's also become a super popular guy through the combination of very hard work and being able to read the fan base.
Yep.
And that's not something everybody has. Or you have other people like, say, Mustafa Ali, who basically, like, he's getting by basically because, well, kind of like Cardona, he was almost criminally underused by WWE, and like had basically said like, hey, these are things, here's stuff like I've wanted to do and was told no.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to do them. And so like he's got all the eyes on him. You know, Cardona was kind of the same way. That's not, you know, not everyone, but like you got to strike while the people remember who you are. So you're not just, you know, those guys who did like 3 job matches back in the 90s who just would slap a WWE or WWF logo on their indie photos. Like you got to strike while that iron's hot and people actually remember who you are, regardless.
Yeah, I'm surprised Ali hasn't done anything for MLW yet.
I'm actually really surprised by that too.
To be honest with you, Ali, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, because I feel like he would like, especially for a short term, like like the equivalent of, we'll say like 2 months, like 4 shows, 2 months. Like you know, I think he can make a pretty big impact. No pun intended. But you know, you know, I don't know. I don't know the backstage meetings of MLW. I don't know, like, I don't know how much money is paid out to individuals and how much money they're willing to spend on individuals. Or, you know, it might be all on Ali. Maybe he doesn't want to do it. You know, who knows? You know. Anyways. But, you know, we can speculate things all we want. And but we could dedicate a whole nother podcast to that. We're supposed to be talking about we're supposed to be talking about intimidation games right now, I guess.
Tag team match?
Next is the tag team title match. Second Gear Crew taking on the WTF faction of Filthy Tom Lawler and the man who doesn't wash his hands, Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yes, that was funny.
That was better than it had. That was better than it had any right to be. And I will say, as much as we complain, and as much as we complain about WTF, like I am actually a big fan of like their backstage shenanigans. Like yeah, I'm not always a big fan of MSL when he talks, but like anything like Tom Lawler does, like he's giving it his all, and he's hilarious. And then like you had Davey Boy in there, like he was almost like the last one I expected to be doing that kind of stupid stuff, but yet he was the star of that segment.
I thought the bad thing was funny. I love the match.
Just watching his eyes bulge as he's like giving everybody a hug and cutting the promo. So serious.
I love the whole match. I love the whole thing, how everything was set up, and I love the fact that finally WTF finally won a match, a tag team match at that, and finally won some gold. I mean, because this guy's been going now for since September of last year or October.
I mean, pretty much. Yeah, I guess well,
yeah,
even August because Cardona was the draft pick of the WTF, and that
and no gold whatsoever, and they finally won a gold. And I could have swore this thing with the helmet. I seen them do that before. I think. Like Davey Boy Smith done that same thing somewhere else before. I don't know if it's WWF days when he was there. I don't remember, but for some reason when I saw the helmet, I said, no, I could have swore he's done something like this before. And now we're probably going to see him with them helmet everywhere now.
So, well, maybe people quit beating up Mr. Saint Laurent. He wouldn't have to come down. Maybe he won't have to come down dressed up like a mummy and various hard things to dink you on the head with.
And it's funny how Brian Gosling came out to help him, trying to get him up, and he's falling all over the place. Oh, this dude's overselling this shit right now.
See, and that was something that kind of surprised me is they pulled the trigger on BRG being in WTF, which still seems like relatively random to me because he was Becca's boyfriend and then became shopping buddy for Zeta, and now he's just part of WTF. Like, okay, well, at least with him involved, like they have a guy who can take pinfalls and it makes sense. Yeah. Whereas like anybody else in WTF, like they shouldn't be losing near as much as they do. which we've talked about, and I will reference again here coming into my chunk of the match, where like it was a serviceable match, but like really like I couldn't get excited for the WTF victory just because they've been goobers for so long. Like they've been jobbing out left and right for the most part. Like, yes, they kind of had a comeback with Tom beating Justice and Davey Boy beating Manders. So like they made a bit of a comeback there, but like for that doesn't necessarily erase 6 months of gooberdom where they're not really winning any matches like whatsoever. And like all of a sudden, boom.
Where's Vicious Jr. at?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I hope he's still part of the group. I forgot Bishop. I was calling him Vicious Jr.
Yeah.
Bishop.
Yeah. Baby Hammerstone, Baby Vicious, whatever you want to call it. Big, a big bleached
Bishop,
blonde guy. Yeah, Joshua Bishop. Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't seen him in a while.
But they kind of do that, whereas like rando folk will pop in and out because like we don't see much of Holiday always either. But like we saw him backstage at Burning Crush, where he was part of the backstage shenanigans with Second Gear Crew and Cozy Max. So like I think they just kind of come in and out wherever they're needed, and they just use whoever's right there at the moment. So I don't, maybe
he's still there.
So I'm going to knock on wood that he's still there because I think this is a good launching. This could be a good launching point for him. For especially like given that the roster for MLW size wise isn't that big overall, and so a guy that's Bishop size, looks like a giant. So I think he can have something going there, but. I also say the same thing about like O'Shea Edwards, and they proceeded to do nothing with him whatsoever. But yeah, the match was serviceable. I was kind of surprised that WTF won. I shouldn't have been. Like they were pointing all the ways to WTF winning. I couldn't get into it because they've been goobered. Despite the fact that Manders shit the bed and got donked on the head and lost, which no self-respecting Iowan is just going to go down due to getting hit in the head with a motorcycle helmet. That's just called Saturday night here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Manders. That's probably why he got donked on the head. Luckily, there's Manders number 2 running around being a stunt double or something. Except he didn't come out to help anybody.
Your hatred for Manders knows no boundaries.
No, because evidently I am the only one that sees that man is a menace. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy at all. Just laying down the facts. Manders is a menace, and now there's 2 Manders running around. But one of them is kind of a whip because he just got donked on the head and knocked out like some sort of not Iowan wimp. So I don't know what's going on there.
Those helmets, they actually hurt. So
they hurt. But if you're upset because the guy got kicked in the dick and lost a match. So.
But it was a backslide on a New York street fight.
And
New
then
York street fight.
And this was a roll up from a guy in the UFC. Semantics.
Two different type of matches.
Manders is just as hardcore as everybody else in that one match. Yes. But that being said, I was surprised. I actually was surprised WTF got it. But like it still fell flat for me because they've been goobers all this time. Though like they really needed, again, like we've said it like every month or every 2 weeks really when we have this pod, that they needed something to get a win to make themselves a threat. So
one more thing I forgot to mention earlier from the second match, they need to get the open weight title away from RSP because that belt is not being defended at all in any show.
Yeah,
somebody take the belt off already and give it to do something with it because that belt is just losing meaning. I just thought about that.
Yeah, it's kind of an afterthought considering that the middleweight championship is kind of the crown jewel right now of the Cesar Duran Salina de la Renta feud.
Yes,
and then by proxy, the tag titles have had some quasi meaning just because they've been prominently featured, like with the Second Gear Crew, like regardless if they're singles matches or not. Like you see the Second Gear Crew together, they got the titles, whereas you don't always see the title with Ricochet and Page. And they don't they don't always reference that he's the national openweight champion as well.
What the hell?
But yeah, so I don't know, but Yeah, maybe we'll get a match next month, and they'll do something with it, with this whole Civil War Carcosa storyline, calling in response and whatnot.
What was next?
Next we have the $5,000 5-minute challenge, and this match, I'm gonna keep the hat on for this because I'm gonna start rattling on incoherently for this one too. Except this one will make a bit more sense than me just ratting on Manders like I normally do. But yeah, I'm just gonna take it away, and then you can correct me or calm me down or whatever it is. But yes, the $5,000 challenge with Janai Kai. I did write down who it was, but it's in my notes somewhere else. Maybe I'll take some extra time to look unprofessional to find it. Yes, Zoe Cannon answered the challenge for Janai Kai. She needed the last 5 minutes or actually win to get $5,000. This match was pretty much exactly how I thought this match was going to go. It lasted like from bell to bell, like 5 seconds, like 20 seconds if you once everybody got into the ring, all that stuff. But it was a push kick, a pump kick, ref stops it, which on paper is fine. But the problem is they did this and they didn't do anything to follow it up. You really, if you're going to do this on a big show and really hype up the challenge aspect of it, then you need to use it as a cog to make it a next step in a story. And they didn't do that at all. There was no surprise debuts. There was no surprise returns. Salina didn't even get on the mic and be like, fuck y'all, this division sucks, we're on top. Like, we didn't even get that. Like, all we got out of this is we did go backstage with a clapping Cesar Duran, who basically called this a squash match, which it was, mind you, but your on-screen talent should not be saying things like this, because that makes it especially in this situation, it almost devalues the title, because they're not giving the championship caliber opponents. Like, yes, it's an open challenge, it's supposed to do something, but the booking 101 for a situation like this is you don't do this jobber squash stuff on a big show unless it's going somewhere, and it didn't go anywhere. Like, I just sat there waiting for it. I'm like, is Camille coming? This is where Camille's coming. Delmi's had enough. She's got the backing of Cesar Duran. She's going to make her move, even though she's got a number one contenders match. Nothing. Literally nothing. Like, I don't pride myself as an armchair booker. Like, I try, like, I'll do some of that stuff. Obviously, I'm a neckbeard podcaster, but like, this is somewhere I go like, dude, you literally dropped the ball on it. What is going on here? It makes me irrationally angry for something that, you know, me rattling on incoherently longer than the match itself. So take this segment home, Muffins. Tell me like I'm overreacting.
No, you're not, because everything you said, you hit the nail right on the head. If we believe all the rumors out there, supposedly Kurt Bauer and MLW had their case against WWE, thrown out of court, and they asked to settle. Supposedly he got $20 million out of this. You mean to tell me you're going to use the $20 million to get Camille to come in and do something to push up the division and make Janai Kai that much stronger as the featherweight? Like you said, you have it be Zoe Cannon, and then here comes Camille. Oh my God, it's Camille! What?
And just to interrupt you, it doesn't even have to be Camille. It could have been anyone. It could have been anyone with a name.
And you said, tell me Exo comes out of the bag because she's mad. She wants to continue what happened last month on the show. Oh, here comes Delmi.
Yeah. Bring back Ava Everett. Bring back Maki Ito.
Yes.
Bring in another Joshi.
Yes. Or bring somebody that's out there, a top female name that's out there, Vicious Vicky.
Yeah.
She's out there, she's proving.
Vita Van out west.
Yes.
Sawyer Wreck out east. Like, Allie Catch. I would love to see Allie Catch in MLW.
Somebody with a name that's been a name. You bring them out. Oh my God! Surprise, surprise, surprise. You got $20 million. You could do this. No, you just went completely flat. This should have been done on the tapings.
Yeah. Like that's the part that makes me the angriest, is that they took time on a special, on a show that technically people had to spend money on. Like, yes, like you get a bunch of stuff with the Fight Plus or Triller TV Plus, whatever you want to call it. Like, so like, yeah, you're not paying just for this event, but like you technically had to spend money to get to this event, unlike YouTube or what should have been on Fusion. Like, I'm okay with a squash match that doesn't go anywhere on my free TV. Yes. Don't give it to me on my pay-per-views.
Yes, and then you got that, and you mentioned no Salina promo afterwards. Like, you saw shit on the thing, on the division, gave us some competition, and boom, somebody comes out, boom, that would have been acceptable, you know.
It writes itself.
Then you go into a backstage nonsense where you have your own talent breaking down the talent of the featherweight. All the good thing he says, like, we're going to Florida, and there are all the beautiful Puerto Rican ladies out there. That was the only part that I liked about the whole thing Cesar said. So that this whole thing was a letdown, because I was up here and I got so deflated so fast. I went, oh my God. I was like, this is so disappointing. Like, wow. Like, this should have been the beginning of the show, or maybe the third match or something, you know, put it there. Not.
It didn't deserve to be on the show at all. Period.
Yes, and not before the main event at that.
I mean, I guess if you're going to deflate us like that, the best place to put it is before the main event, because that way people have their bathroom break or or so they can have a chance to relax before the main event, and they can cheer their heads off or boo their heads off, whatever. Yeah, but it was like,
I agree with you 100%. Everything you said about this was just like I said, it's definitely strictly on the tapings, or they may do it outside in the back as one of those segments that you do now every other day that you put on YouTube, and do something like that there, you know, whatever. Okay, look, that was kind of okay, nothing happened. Yeah, man, but that was just completely deflate me. I was so high about the show, and now we're just, I was like, wow, dude, like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. Spoiler alert, the show is basically a sandwich, except this sandwich, the bread is the best part of it, which is ironic. Coming into our main events for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship, Satoshi Kojima defends against Minoru Suzuki, the angry murder grandpa himself. Commentary, they finally referenced it on commentary after I put it out on social media. So Joe Dombrowski probably knew this before, like, I put it out there, but they didn't play it up at all until the match started. But Suzuki and Kojima actually have history, which, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I wasn't quite aware of until like the week before the match. But like, what we now know is Suzuki Goon was actually Kojima Goon.
Oh, wow.
So they have history, and Suzuki actually holds the advantage in singles matches. He's like 6-4 against Kojima, which again, commentary did put over eventually. I didn't do the statistics for every encounter, just singles matches. So I have no idea what's going on the stable front, tag team front, whatever. But like, this match also was not a fast-paced affair, but
which is fine.
But we had two 50-year-old dudes beating the shit out of each other, is what we got.
And that's what we wanted to see. We didn't want it to be fast. We wanted it to be slow and painful, because we're hearing every slap, everything that's going on. I wanted to be HD 4K. I want to see the blood and the sweat just coming out, and put the microphone right there in front of them when they're getting slapped. That's what I wanted to see, and that's what I got.
And Suzuki is such a dick, and it's great. Like I don't know why anyone tries to strike him, because it just makes him happy and angry to be hit. Because you hit him, he just laughs at you, and then he's going to hit you harder. Like, he went through 3 rounds of machine gun chops, and each time, like, oh, you could say like, oh, those machine gun chops, like, they're fake. Suzuki's chest said otherwise, because his chest didn't have much markings to it before those machine guns, and then by the end of it, it pretty much had a handprint ish, because the chops are all over the place. But his chest was thoroughly red by the time those were done, and he no-sold it
Yeah,
Like that's the thing too, is he knows he did like half a sell on the last set when he kind of slumped in the corner. But even then, he slumped in the corner like he was like sliding into a hot tub. He's just kind of like,
yes, this feels natural. This feels natural. Well, and the
that
funny
is
thing was, we knew what was going to happen, but there behind my brain, we knew that Kojima had a bad knee. Or something happened with
this is like his first match back. He
yeah.
buggered up his knee
So
like
I
a
was
month ago.
thinking, like, maybe they gonna do a switch here and Suzuki actually gets the win because of the knee issue. So I was kind of like okay,
and that wouldn't have upset me as much as I'm a
neither.
Kojima. As much as I am a Kojima boy and a member of the Bread Club, I also love me an Angry Murder Grandpa too. And
knowing
especially
what happened with Kojima, it wouldn't be.
You had now.
Exactly, it would have been a shock as to why it would have never happened. But yeah,
and actually, even booking wise, just like, you know, pulling off the veil of kayfabe, like even booking wise, we've had so many long meandering title reigns. Yeah. It would almost be refreshing to have, like, you know, title reign or two as kind of that where let the title bounce after like one or two matches. Like it would be almost refreshing and kind of like shake things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Though I might, you know, as much as I love Suzuki, like you might almost question the business of putting the title on him as well, because like as much as everyone loves Kojima, like people did kind of side eye taking the belt off of a young upstart Alex Kane and putting it on a 50-plus-year-old man.
But if they're gonna do that, then do it again because of the issue with the knee. Then I understand why it did.
Yeah,
I would have been mad about that. I would have that's fine.
Yeah, but you know, that being said, like I thought it was a very good hard hitting match. It took like three lariats to put Suzuki down.
Which should have. You can't go down on one. You have to hit him. See, that's what I expected the New York Street Fight to go. You beat the shit out of the guy. You keep beating him. And you beat him because you beat the shit out of him. And you close like so many damn times with the lariat that he got knocked out. Boom, you pin him. Now on a damn backslide.
Yeah, but you know, they ended up hot. They ended the show hot, which was a perk. Even though they just kind of cut it off randomly, there wasn't even, you know, it just out of nowhere. And I joked in our chat of like, well, they were probably filming. They were probably had more matches to do that, so they didn't have the time to. It wasn't the true main event of the evening.
Fast. Yeah, he just
dunked it. That was quick. Like didn't get the mic. We didn't get a bread shower. We didn't get anything. He just walked to the back and end of show.
Usually we get to see who the next challenger is going to be or something like that. Like
we didn't get that. So I'm curious. Yeah, like who's next in line for the championship?
Well, it's going to be the War Chamber. So I guess next month doesn't matter. Since the belt won't be on the line, so because it's going to be War Chamber shit, more focus on that than the actual title now. So, which that would make sense.
Well, do you think that? So, do you think that we're not going to see the title until April?
I don't even think they have a show in April.
No, you're correct. Like they haven't announced anything for April, so I assume
unless they have they'll
probably have a taping for War Chamber,
and then have it in the middle of the month. But I mean, now thinking about it, that's going to be the big thing is the War Chamber, and the title never ever defended on that show anyway. So
are we not going to? So I guess I'll rephrase the question. So are we not going to see we're not going to see the title until May?
Probably, yeah, because I mean, honestly, I would not doubt it, not seeing one Japanese wrestler in the next show.
They're bringing in another member of TMDK.
Yeah.
For War Chamber.
Who?
Let me switch my notes around.
Another. They mentioned a young lion kid that's coming in.
Yeah, he's like the TMDK young boy. Like he just got
promoted.
Yeah,
he was a young lion for a while.
Yeah, so
I saw the name. I can't remember the name.
Kosei Fujita.
Okay.
Because I did like look up a little bit about him just so I only sounded like half an idiot instead of a full idiot.
I know he's been a young lion for a couple of years, and pretty sure he just recently graduated to
within the last handful of months. Like he's popped up, and he's been adopted into the TMDK faction.
And I'm pretty sure he'll be the next one getting a shot at the TV title of
or breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, Riddle. I mean, I'll see that happening. So, and Riddle probably won't have anything to do with the War Chamber match.
That doesn't hurt my feelings none.
Yeah.
Actually, at least that way, if he doesn't show up, I'll actually report on it instead of having monitor issues like I normally do.
Yeah. So if we go with the calling and what's the guy's name again? The response or Salinas versus Cesar, you won't need any titles on those two different War Chamber matches. So they'll have the month off or whatever, a couple of weeks off.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of disconcerting for me too. So, I mean, this is pure speculation on our part, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course.
Just off. But like, I personally, as a wrestling fan, would be disappointed if the world title was not defended for another 3 months. Like,
well, I wouldn't, because of the simple reason is War Chamber, and then we know that then they'll do a taping afterwards for the middle of April. And then the May show, which is going to be in Chicago. So yeah, I mean, you'll probably have almost 2 months.
Yeah, and okay, it is what it is. I guess that's how much we see Roman Reigns. But
exactly.
But I don't know. I just I don't know. I just feel like, especially if it's gonna be War Chamber, and like that's gonna be the main event, which it should be, just because it takes so much to build to physically build the War Chamber. But like, I feel like that would be a good opportunity to maybe boost up the YouTube show with maybe a world title defense. But again, then on the flip side too, they're really hammering home the Cozy Max tandem too. So I wonder if we're going to see the world title put on a back burner so Cozy Max can go after WTF.
For the tag team title, yes. See, I could see the tag team title being defended at War Chamber as one of the matches.
The undercard matches.
Yeah. So I could see that happening. I could see the New Japan title being defended there. Also, maybe even the middleweight title, the featherweight title, but nothing to do with the World Championship. If you're gonna go with two of the different factions as being the War Chamber, and maybe you have 2 different War Chamber matches.
No, that would be interesting. I like. Would it be worthwhile? Like, I don't know, but
I mean,
I wouldn't turn it down.
Half an hour each. You start one half an hour, couple of matches, and then you end it with the other War Chamber match.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean,
it's not a horrible idea by any stretch of the imagination. But
once again, speculations.
Yeah, but for an indie, I just think it's kind of interesting. I know, like, WWE now is trying, tries to, like, have 2 war games. But I feel like it waters it down when you do that, especially when there's like no reason to have it.
Well, you had two Royal Rumble matches, male and female. You just had 2 different elimination chambers, male and female. So
yeah, which that makes sense to me. But the War Games is like a feud ender. Like
yeah,
and so like I feel like you're shoehorning at that point. But what do I know? I'm just a dude on the internet.
Exactly. What do we know?
I'm just paid to speculate wildly instead of being an actual insider.
Well, I don't get paid. I just do it for free and make speculating my ass off like crazy.
There you go. Get some ads. Talk to local folks. Get some ad space in here.
Yes.
Get a Patreon or something of the like. That's what I do. Get myself a cup of coffee each month out of the deal. But yeah. So that was Intimidation Games. Like, it was. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it was kind of a nothing show. Like, the opener was amazing. The first tag team match was pretty darn good, and then it just got progressively worse until the main event. And the main event, like, again, like, I will concede any argument someone wants to make about the main event not being good, because if that's not your bag. but like I enjoyed the main event. I thought it was a good match.
I did too.
But the rest of
it
was
was
all
exactly what I expected. 2 50-year-old guys taking it slow and beating the shit out of each other. That's can't ask for anything. And then 2 legends at that. I can't ask for anything better than that. So.
But the rest of the show, like Intimidation Games was not terribly intimidating. Like unless you were scared about how bad it was, man.
Especially that $5,000 match thing.
Oh, like I have not been that angry at booking by any company in quite some time. Like that upset me way too much for a guy who has no stake in the game whatsoever.
Oh, dude, I feel the same way. I have no stake whatsoever, but damn it, that was just.
But you know, it is what it is. It can't.
Just imagining what could have happened. Just imagining what could have been.
Exactly. You know. But you know, as I like to say, they can't all be zingers. It's just I was expecting a bit more meh than what we got out of the deal overall. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Hopefully the taping surrounding the Intimidation Games will pick things up a bit. Hopefully we'll see something build a bit more going into War Chamber. That is going to also, like, going back to our War Chamber discussion, that is something that kind of like worries me in terms of how the broadcast cycle of MLW is how do you promote a feud ender like War Chamber when you're really only promoting things like twice a month. But
you got one show to promote that for March.
Yeah, and so I at a certain level, like, how are you going to do that properly? Especially if we're going to do Salina versus Cesar in one of them. Again, speculation, because like it's going to be a bunch of randos, comparatively speaking, because like there's not really much of a proper stable on either side of them. Like Cesar is literally just bringing in rando folks. Salina has a small core of folks, but otherwise it's still rounded out by CMML luchadors whatever they can get. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Like, hopefully things will get a little bit more upbeat. If nothing else, we at least have a War Chamber to look forward to, even if we don't understand how we got there yet. Because I do enjoy me a War Chamber. They got the tools to do it. They got guys who specialize in a War Chamber-esque environment, whether it's the second gear crew, whether it's the calling, whether it's the response. Like, all those guys are hardcore enough to pull off at least one of those chambers. It'll be fine. So I guess we can move on, shut things down, talk about what else we got going on in the wrestling world. Of course, Muffins has got his 10 pounds of pod. I assume N.W.A's back. Is it correct?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So we got 10 pounds of pod. He also has the future every now. Do you have any futures coming up here?
Hopefully, working on one person right now as we speak.
Okay, so keep an eye on that. Of course, over at my end, we have the MLW Confusion podcast, drops every Friday. Sometimes it's regular Confusion. Sometimes now I'm giving an indie spotlight when there's no MLW to review. So, you know, recommend your favorite indies for that. Of course, I throw my money around to local independent promotions. So if you're in Eastern Iowa, keep your eyes out for SCW Pro. They got a show this weekend in Iowa City, and they got a show 2 weeks in Bluegrass, Iowa as well. I'm also sponsoring Richard Holiday, MLW WTF Superstar, at the New South Haas Fight Tournament. That's going to be on WITV or IWTV tonight and tomorrow, Friday, Saturday.
Ready to fight here, baby. Ready to fight here.
I've drank the coffee. Now I'm giving him more money to go win fights for me. For me, I have no stake in this game whatsoever. So, you know, cheap plug on those folks as well. Keep an eye out. Myself, I have an interview with SCW Pro Grand Slam champion JT Energy that'll be coming out in the next few days because I've been too busy doing everything else to get that edited properly. So keep your eye on that. That'll be out early next week. Other than that, of course, the usuals. Got the social media bar going down at the bottom. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, leave a comment, all that sort of good stuff. Follow us on social media. add us in things. Like, we might actually engage in conversation. Let me know how irrational I am. Let Muffins know what we all know and how cool he is. We will respond. We may respond to things probably because I don't have anything better to do or not. But in the meanwhile, though, do all those things, and we'll be back somewhere in the next 2 weeks whenever they do the YouTube stuff, of course. So for Muffins Martinez, Rob Kammer, catch you all next time.
Deuces.
Hey, the balloons are back.